Hello, hello, everyone. Come on in. We are continuing our um, investigation into where is Sebastian Rogers. We're going back through all the interviews from the beginning and trying to see if there was anything that anybody missed, right? Um, without adding more speculation, I guess is the thing. For those of you who may not know who Sebastian Rogers is, he is a 15-year-old autistic male who went missing from his Hendersonville home in Sumner County, Tennessee, late night hours of February 25th into the early morning hours of February 26th of this past year. Sebastian will turn 16 on December 7th, which is only a couple weeks away, guys. He has dirty blonde hair, brown eyes. He wears black square frame glasses. He's 5'5" and weighs between 110 and 120 pounds. He doesn't like to be barefoot. He has trouble with social interactions and making friends. And his favorite color is green. Keep your eyes peeled for him because he could be anywhere, especially if trafficking is a part of this. We don't know for sure, but if it is, he could be anywhere, guys. So tonight we are going to go over an interview that happened, let's see, on the 28th. And it's Seth, and he's on the lab. And we're also going to go over Fox and Friends, where Chris and Katie are on Fox and Friends. And that also happened on the 28th. So we're going to do both, I think, tonight. Just see here. Yeah, we'll start with the Chris and Katie one. Hope everybody's doing all right tonight. I stayed up really late watching binging shows on Netflix. Trying to think of the name of the one that the second part came out, and I binge watched the whole thing. I was up until 5 o'clock this morning, guys. So I'm dragging butt today. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. But I wasn't tired, so I just kept watching one right after another. Oh, it was crazy. I don't know why I can't think of the name of it. You guys probably have heard of it or watch it yourselves, but okay, so is everybody able to see this one? All right. Hi, Samantha, Green Jules. Great to see you guys here tonight. All right, let's get started on this one.
Katie and Chris, thanks so much for joining the program this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
So, Miss Crawford, you put him to bed. You heard some noises in there. You told him to knock it off. You got up the next morning, and you haven't seen him since. Where do you think your son is right now?
Honestly, we don't know where he is. Up to now, we haven't found any substantial evidence to locate where he's been or where he went. That's why we're pleading for help for anyone out there that might know something or see something that could help us find him.
Miss Crawford, was Sebastian a runner? Did he have a history of running away from school or running away from home anytime before?
No, he didn't have a history of running.
Oh my gosh. Guys, does it seem like whenever they interview with someone new, the same questions are being asked over and over again? Hi, Mike. That's what it seems like to me. Was Sebastian a runner? How many times have we heard that? Was Sebastian a runner? Oh, and you put him to bed and then you couldn't find him in the morning? No. Maybe I'm just overtired. I don't know. It just seems like that whenever they speak to somebody new, it's always the same questions. And, if I were a professional reporter, it would seem like I would do my due diligence and try to ask something different. Maybe give a short synopsis and then try to ask something different. I don't know. Let's continue.
Mr. Proudfoot, you're about, I think, 3 hours away, and then you got the call about what happened, and you made your way home. You've agreed to a polygraph. You haven't been ruled as a suspect. What do you make of some of the criticism of some people online, some critics saying that they think that you were involved?
It's their personal opinion. It's sad that people have resorted to this kind of rhetoric and verbiage and harassment. But, at the end of the day, it's their opinion. But the truth will come out. And then when it does, everybody will finally have their answers.
Ms. Proudfoot, did your son Sebastian have any friends that you think? Did he have a cell phone? Had he made any type of contact?
Not that we know of.
Ms. Proudfoot, you did decide to leave the home and you went to go see your husband, which I said is about 3 hours away. And some people have said that, you have an autistic son who's missing. Why would you leave the home? Can you give us some insight on why?
There are a few reasons. We are posting flyers every direction we can, but at the same time, there were quite a bit of people that were, sending some very threatening and hateful messages to us. They're following us. They're driving past our house all hours of day and night, disturbing the neighborhood. And the neighborhood is very upset, concerned, and people are worried about their safety at this point. So one of the reasons that I did that is in the hopes that if we left for a couple of days, that it might calm that down and give our neighbors a little bit of reprieve as well.
A quick follow-up, Mrs. Proudfoot. His biological
It wasn't just a few days that she was gone, was it? Wasn't it weeks? I'm trying to remember, but he did like hiding. Yeah, he did like hiding. Samantha says they're both lying for the fact that in the first interview they were both laughing, and then when they went to court they were both laughing. I'm sure they both know where Sebastian Rogers is at. Okay. Um, I remember the first interview. We just watched it not that long ago, and it seemed to me that Katie was pretty distraught during that interview. I don't remember her laughing. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't remember her laughing during that one. Um, I do have my questions about whether they know where Sebastian is or not, but there's no way for us to prove that. Nobody ever asked why CP allegedly told Katie to put the dogs up when CP supposedly not home. Nobody ever asked. I'm not sure where you're going with that, Green Jules. According to Katie, she was falling asleep on the phone with Chris, and he woke her up and said, "Put the dogs up, go to bed." So I'm not sure what you mean by that. Hi, got change. Mike Tyson fight is gonna start. I'm not into that. Never have been. I don't know why. I am. I like football, and I like basketball. And Samantha, for God's sakes, why would you be laughing while your child is missing? Yeah, you know, I mean, we're 9 months in now. I wouldn't have expected them to be laughing even a couple of months in, but at some point, you do kind of go on with your life, and to say that you'd never laugh, I think is unreasonable. But I don't think I'd be laughing when I was on an interview, whether it was a YouTuber, whether it was a national interview. For sure, I don't think I'd be laughing at all. Um, you know, but some people laugh out of nervousness as well. Um, Dog slept with Katie supposedly when CP wasn't home. Huh. I never heard that. Because I thought they were like Sebastian's dogs. So I had never heard that. All right, let's continue on.
Father has said that he doesn't believe that he would have been barefoot because of the traumatic experience that he had stepping in a pile of ants. But you think he left barefoot. Why are you so confident that he didn't have any shoes on or anything like that?
Because
all of his shoes have been accounted for. As far as now, all of our shoes have been accounted for, mine and my wife's.
Chris is talking right over her. She started answering. He's done that a couple of times just in these couple of seconds.
At this point, so I mean, there is no other answer as to what he would have been wearing at this point.
Yeah. Thank y'all so much for joining us on the program today. Our number one concern is to get Sebastian home back to y'all. We're going to put the number up for anyone that has any information on if you've seen Sebastian. You can call 1-800-TBI. That's the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. TBI Find. We'll put up the timeline. If you were in any of these areas, we hope that you'll reach out to the number. Katie and Chris, thanks so much for joining our program this morning.
Thank you so much for Sebastian's work.
Okay. So that one we're done with. I knew that one wasn't going to be very long. Right, Green Jules, I know. There's so much being said out there. That's why I kind of try to really stick with the facts as much as I can because the things that have receipts, that we know for sure. Because, which isn't much. If you think about it, we don't have a lot of facts of this case. The biggest fact that we all know is he vanished without a trace. No shoes. It's about all we know. He was wearing all black. And he had his glasses with him, right? Those are the facts, right? If we really get down to it, those are the facts. That he was last seen with mom. As far as anyone knows. So, yeah. I don't know. I am really hoping and praying for Sebastian to come home. And, for them to, starting to wonder more and more if it's a trafficking situation. I don't know. Just makes you wonder. But let's move on to the next one. It is Seth with the lab. This one's a little longer, I think. So.
What's up, man? Good day. Another day, tired, wore out. Same. So, I'd like for the question that was asked. Um, I'd like to start it off with that to begin with. My son never told me that stuff. My son never told me what was going on in that house. If he had told me what was going on in that house,
Can you guys hear all right?
period.
Who asked? Sorry, who asked the question?
Miss Brett.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, people are just.
If I had known that my son was being abused mentally, physically, socially,
I'm just gonna pause it there for a quick second. Um, I think I said this on my stream yesterday, guys. Whenever I play anything, I play it at full volume. And the reason that I do that is because of my own hearing. I figure that anybody else can turn things down if they need to. So I have got it as loud as I can. Um, Everything is to the max. I have Meniere's disease, and it causes um, deafness over time. And I'm my left ear is gone totally, and my right ear probably I have lost 90%. Um, okay, good, Green Jules. I appreciate that. Yeah, so whenever you're watching anything on my channels, it is always that full blast. Just so you're aware. So you might want to come in with it lower and then raise it as you need to because yeah, um I do that for myself and for any other hearing impaired people out there. And I do try to do closed captioning on any videos that I watch. I haven't figured out how to get them all, or at least spend the time. I don't have the time to spend for to to type it all out myself after every video. So, oh, cool. All right, sounds good. I'm gonna continue on with this.
no. He would have been in my house last year. And I just made a different program.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think there's always somebody that's going to say something, but I don't think that people. I know that. I know that I never want you in the situation. Because he did. I mean, it's just I never thought that one time. So I'm sorry that somebody asked that. That was not not cool.
Is that don't take offense to it. It just makes me hurt a little bit more because my son didn't tell me.
Sure. Sure. So I mean, so this is probably just a lot for you. This is a lot for you to digest, and um, I know that you found out some things probably in the last 48 hours that haven't been easy to digest. I'm sure, but the focus remains the same. You know, right?
Find my son.
Find your son. Yeah, yeah. And are there going to be some volunteers coming out tomorrow?
Hope so.
Yeah. Where are you guys? I mean, like, where do you get your? I'm just wondering, where do you get your tips and stuff from, or is it just places that maybe? How do you kind of come up with the locations?
I've got people on the internet. People send a lot of things to my sister, to my mom, to other people that are helping me on some of these Facebook pages, and they come into me. I go through them all, and it's before when it was just me. It was like, well, I know what I'm doing today. I'm going to check out this place. Then I'm going to check out this place.
Yeah, because I think that, I mean, besides the actual searching itself, kind of just coming up with a place to search has to be difficult in and of itself. I mean, you want to search wherever you can search, but without any concrete leads, it is kind of difficult.
Mhm. Because I don't get the leads from that TBI and them get.
Right.
You
Right.
know, I tell people if you have leads, tell TBI. They can go search them. My sister, she gets leads from people. She sends them to me. I send them to TBI.
Right.
Same point in time, I turn around and tell TBI, I'm going here, I'm going here, I'm going here.
It sounds like that you're very I have a sister that I'm very close with as well. It seems like that your sister's really, really, really there for you. Um,
She's a bully.
is she your only sister?
Yeah, she is.
Do you have brothers?
Nope.
So it's just you two.
Yes.
Did he
And is
say
she
she's a
older than you?
bully?
Yes.
It's just like me and my sister, dude. Just like that.
She's
My
somewhere between 40 and 52, but older than me.
my sister's somewhere between 40 and 50 as well, but older than me for sure. That's funny. Um, yeah, my sister's a bully too, but she still thinks she can tell me what to do. And she still does, and I still listen to it. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's like Chris calling up or Chris telling me that I need to curb my sister or he's going to step on her toes. I was like, good luck.
When did he say that?
When he found out she started the GoFundMe.
What business is that of his?
Oh, it isn't. And he's right. We had an agreement that I wouldn't start a GoFundMe and him and Katie wouldn't start a GoFundMe.
Why was it? Can you tell me why you guys had that agreement?
Um, Something about not making money off of Sebastian's disappearance.
Wow.
Didn't want people to think that, him disappearing was people trying to make money. And my sister asked me about the GoFundMe. I was like, I don't care. Just don't include my son in on it. Because I'm not trying to get anything from my son missing. I am trying to find my son. And she was like, okay. I don't have social media, so I didn't even know how a GoFundMe works.
And so he called you and said,
No, I was in the
"Oh, he said that to you face to face."
Yeah. I mean, it was his prerogative.
Well, I mean, I disagree, but if that's how you feel, good for you. Um, I mean, I don't know.
People do stuff that you want them to do. We have free will.
Okay. So Samantha says, I truly believe the boy in the photo in North Carolina is Sebastian Rogers, 100%, probably under a different name. The thing is, though, law enforcement checked that out, and it turned out not to be. So that was debunked pretty quickly because they did follow it up. Even Seth went out there. So, you know, I don't think that law enforcement would say it wasn't if it was, because it was a different law enforcement. It wasn't law enforcement from Sumner County that checked that out, you know. So I don't think, but I appreciate your opinions, guys. Um, Less publicity too without a GoFundMe. I know there is a lot of controversy over the GoFundMe account for Seth. Okay. Um, I'm gonna say this. He took off work to be out there every day searching for his son. You still have bills to pay. You still have rent to pay, lights, electric. Yeah, I mean, you still have food to buy. Um, you know, you still have your bills to pay. So somehow you have to pay those bills. Um, I have a lot of respect for the fact that and guys, he's been consistent. He's been out there every day. You know, where if you look at Chris and Katie, they left. They went to Oregon. They went to, I believe, Mississippi in the RV. I mean, they didn't even stay at home. It's like they knew that Sebastian wasn't going to come back there for some reason. I don't know. But, so I don't personally see anything wrong with the GoFundMe. I don't feel that it was a way to make money off of Sebastian. It was a way for Seth to be able to continue to pay his bills while he was looking for Sebastian.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. It's like I told Jonathan, I don't care who comes and helps me search for my son, as long as you're helping me search for my son.
Sure.
I know that Jonathan has a past. I'm in law enforcement. I'm around murderers, rapists every day. And I hope that they change. They may not get a chance to go back out into society because their sentence is long, but I'm not there to punish them. I'm there to make sure they're abiding by policy. I'm there to make sure that they stay safe too. Jail's not a safe place. I don't judge them for what they've done. They've already been judged. That's why they're there.
Well, there is no doubt that these shows, these podcasts can garner a lot of attention for the right reasons, the wrong reasons, but and can get people, your son's face out all over the world. There's no question about that. And that people with platforms, we all have a responsibility. There's no doubt about it. I think that people do genuinely want to help, and sometimes people butt heads. This is a high stress situation, no question about it. Especially for you, your family, the searchers. It's a very, very high stress situation, and so I'm not here to bag on anybody, but yeah, I think people just want to help. I think for the most part, people are pretty genuine, when they want to help, and anybody that shows up seems that way. I don't know. I can't tell people's intentions. I've always had a problem with that. Is trying to, so I don't even really bother with that, other than just letting.
No, Wanda, like, I'm not throwing his past in his face. All right. I told him to himself that his past doesn't matter to me.
Sure. Right.
I would never throw somebody's past in their face. Unless you stab me, then I might throw that in your face.
Sure.
Stab.
Yeah. Understandable.
I'd be upset about that too.
Yeah, that might hurt.
Yeah. Sure. I understand.
And I wasn't there when he was booted off the property. I wasn't there when Dolly was there. I knew Dolly was coming down. I wanted to actually meet him. But I wasn't even informed of that stuff had happened until afterwards.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I don't know. You got enough to worry about. You got enough to worry about. You need to focus on the search. I mean, that's not really for you to. I don't think that's really for you to square away. I mean, unless that's something you wanted to do, but you don't need that extra stress.
You know, my only thing about some of this stuff is that if you're gonna help search, it's like it's really hard to cook an omelet with a phone in your hand.
Sure.
You know, I know how hard it is right now with my shoulder fucked up. I'm sorry. Can I even cuss on here?
You can.
Cool. My shoulder's fucked up, and it's hard enough for me to drive, do half the things that I was doing. So yeah, you know, kind of fucking sucks. You know.
Have you? So you've had a shoulder injury before?
No, this is kind of new.
And is that from search? That's from being out there and searching.
Got a knot about yay big in the back underneath my shoulder blade, and it's just I need to increase the amount of water I'm drinking and
Yeah.
not drink so much coffee, which is blasphemy. But
Do you
I
drink
drink
what kind of coffee? You drink black coffee?
yeah,
You ever drink it iced?
no.
As soon as that came halfway out of my mouth, I was like, this guy's gonna call me a fruit here in a second. I like I like iced coffee. I can't help it. I'm not.
Brown.
I know. That was a dumb question.
Towards like the coffee is cold in my coffee cup.
Do you like iced coffee? No. Don't ever say anything like that to me again.
I don't even drink ice in my sweet tea. It dilutes.
What if it's not cold?
Then it's warm tea, and I should be drinking coffee.
Right. Well, I don't know.
Party back in 1776 for that shit.
Yeah, well, it wasn't sweet tea then, but it was on its way at least. So, so these things, obviously, the last couple of days have been tough. Going forward, I mean, is there searches planned? You have searches planned? What, like Thursday and Friday?
There's supposed to be searches planned every day.
Every day. Okay.
Every day until we find my son.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that's and meeting at this basically the same place every day.
Yes, sir.
And then you guys just kind of go from there. But you're not advertising where you're searching because you want a kind of a contained search. Is that the reason for the organization?
They're not telling me where they're searching. Because now that they have come in, from my understanding, they really didn't want me out there to begin with. Which is policy. I mean, it's policy for me not to be out there. I'm emotionally attached to the case.
Mm.
They're worried. Law enforcement is worried that I'll fuck up a scene. That I find my son and.
Okay, I'm kind of curious. How many of you, if your child was missing, would not go out and search? How many of you would listen to law enforcement if they said, I don't want you to go out there searching? Because I know I wouldn't. I'd be out there. I wouldn't be out there alone, but I would be out there. So if you'd be out there searching, put a 1 in the chat. If you would not go because law enforcement said no, put a 2 in the chat. I'm really curious to know. One in the chat if you would go searching. Two if you would listen to law enforcement and not search.
You know, but I know what my job duties are. You know, I know what they are, but at the same point in time, my son's out there. He's probably cold, probably hungry, lost, doesn't know where the hell he's at. I need to fucking find him. It's I'm not torn between my profession and the fact that I'm a dad. I know what policy is. I know the correct procedures and stuff like that. But what do you think my son's going to do if he sees me after, 30 days of not seeing me, being out there on the streets, not knowing where he's at? He's going to run to
That's
me.
exactly what I thought. All
And it
one
would
so
break my
far.
fucking heart to tell him not to touch me.
Yeah, look, man, I completely understand. That makes sense why they wouldn't want parents of missing children on the scene just in case something like that happens. I remember in the John Benet Ramsey case, and I'm not getting into who did what but
Remember that case? I guess that really makes me fucking old.
it makes me old too. But the
But I'm older than you.
a little bit, not a lot.
Hey, earlier you're like, oh yeah, I'm way younger than him.
No, I said you're younger than me.
Oh, but I'm not. I'm older than you.
I just thought you were younger than me because I was like, it seems that I'm getting to the point where like everybody that I meet now, I'm older than.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it does get that way.
Samantha, I lived in Tennessee for 3 years. I absolutely loved it there because I loved the weather. Of course, I didn't have any run-in. I had one kind of episode because of my stepson with law enforcement in Sumner County, but they were awesome. So I didn't get to see all this other garbage that I'm now hearing about in Tennessee, and it just shocks me. It's it's just shocking to me how much they let go. Um, and Samantha, I did see your thing. I'm having a hard time believing that's not Sebastian. I know, but at a certain angle, I looked at it and didn't think it was either. Um, and I would think that Seth would know his own son, right? And Seth went out there. And the mother came forward and said no. And she asked people to leave him alone. So, as much as we are all so hoping, to find him. And he did look a lot like Sebastian. He really did. But it just hasn't happened yet. Um, but one day soon, I keep praying, one day soon it will be.
Like, Trevor, what are you, 22, Trevor?
Yeah.
Like, people be like, oh, yeah, that's a kid. It's like, it's not really a kid, though. Like, 22 is not a kid. But to me, I mean,
when I'm his age, it is.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I'm
It is
looking,
to
I'm like,
me.
how old are you? And you hear the two come out of his mouth, and you're like, man, you're still wet behind the ears.
Well, that may be true. There's no question about that. But everybody, you get tired of hearing that, though, right, Trevor? Be honest.
I'd like to interrupt for a moment.
Please do.
Nicole B, there actually is there is a reward fund set up, and I can get it for you. I've got it somewhere in my text messages, and I will share it to Trevor.
I think I've got it somewhere.
Do you?
I believe so. Let me dig for it real quick.
because it is an attorney actually in Nashville. And if you donate to it, it's not really, well, you donate to it. He prefers checks. You go in, you give him a receipt. You go in, you give him the money, he gives you a receipt, and then he puts it into an escrow account. Right now it's at $3,500. But unfortunately, particular family decided to tell people not to donate because we had people that wanted to donate, $1,000, $2,000 to the reward, and they told him not to donate. I've already called. I spoke to the attorney. He told me the process, and so there is an actual fund already set up.
Okay.
Josh, do you mind if I share my screen for a second? I've got it all pulled up.
No, go ahead.
As long as we don't have to see the John Wayne, we're good.
For the record, I didn't pull that up.
The John Wayne. So
wonder whatever happened
so this
to
is
that.
the reward fund. To add to the reward fund, Sebastian Rogers checks must be mailed or dropped off to reward fund for Sebastian Rogers, James Bryan Lewis, 1300 Division Street, Suite 307, Nashville, Tennessee 37203. All donations will be held in an escrow account. So there's the answer to that. Very cool. I am surprised that it hasn't been promoted a little bit more, but there's a lot of there's just a lot going on.
Yes, he did think so. That's why he went there himself,
Seth,
Samantha.
Hyperlink to it?
But it wasn't.
What's that?
Sebastian.
I said, is there a way to make a hyperlink to it? I got to figure this stuff out.
Probably.
Just left me back in the VCR age.
Oh, okay.
Seth never had social media until
How
his son went
Chat know what a
missing.
VCR is.
Yeah, it's a video cassette recorder. And
Wow.
I have
I mean,
a Rescuers Down Under on VHS. Good one. You remember that one?
I watched Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, okay?
That's a good one too. Broomsticks.
Actually, one of the last movies I watched with my son, and I thought he wasn't going to like it, but he actually sat there and watched the whole thing and enjoyed every moment of it.
Oh, really? That's interesting. I think my kids would probably hate it, but they have terrible taste. That's what I tell them.
They're your kids. Their tastes are partly yours.
Well, that's why they have terrible taste.
I have wonderful taste. Except for in females, because I don't know what happened.
I was going to tell you.
Side of me that normally people don't see. The delusional, exhausted, and don't really have much of a thought process tonight.
Well, you got to blow off some steam, right? I mean, what are you going to do? You got to blow some steam off. I get in those moods too, constantly. Trust me. The chat hates it. Like sometimes I'll be like to do a lab after dark, and I'm just like, why am I here right now? And then people are like, oh, Josh is in a bad mood. It's amazing that people can tell that you're bad mood. Somebody said we've seen it. Yeah. Josh, you seem off today. See? Somebody just said in the chat, Josh, you seem off today. I'm not off. This is how I usually am. Off. Josh, you're off today. Great. Now I feel bad. Let me see here. No, it's not that I'm off. It's just that this situation it's perplexing and it's difficult to kind of navigate. I mean, with the emotions going on and people trying to help, people feeling kind of, pushed back on, and it's just I'm trying to toe the line here, you know.
Am I remarried? Please. I learned the first time. Can't you tell?
Just let it out. Just let it out, man. Can't you tell? I can't. I'm getting hammered here. So let's see. Can you put that in the? Can you put that in the chat again, Linda, and I'll pin it for you. Yeah, it's just a conversation with friends. So,
Well, not crazy by crazy lady. I had an 8-track player in my first vehicle.
yeah, so you definitely are older than me. That's true. Because I never,
Okay.
I never had one of those.
Well, I feel sorry for you.
Well, you should. You should feel
I
sorry.
really feel sorry when I bought my truck and found out there wasn't a CD player in it.
Oh God, guys. Seth is dating us. So yes, I had an 8-track player too, but I had a car that only had AM FM radio before that. You know, cuz yeah. And then you know, um cassette player. I had a car that had a cassette player in it, and then I had a car that had a CD player in it. So, yeah, I'm that old. That's funny.
What was it? Just like a USB plug-in?
It is. Yeah, it's got one of those. It won't even charge my phone though.
Well, then
It sucks because
I would take
yeah,
the whole car back.
and there's no refund.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. You got a paid for car. So I had a brief conversation with Chris the other day, asking him why he hasn't been in contact with you. His answer was that he hasn't heard from you, and that his phone, he knows that my phone is always on. And so take that for whatever it is. That was his response to my question. When I saw your News Nation piece come out, that's what
I'm pretty sure that probably upset him a little bit, but it's the truth. But my whole thing is that I'm out looking for my son. If you don't want to come help me, you don't want to come help me. I'm not going to ask.
I'm out looking for my son. If you don't want to come help me, I'm not going to ask. I don't blame him. How do you think Sebastian would feel to see his mom's actions? You know, but I think there was some problems, obviously, beforehand, don't you think? That had to have been manifesting for CPS to be called. I wish we could see those reports, but you know, it isn't any of our business, honestly. You know, but to be a fly on the wall in the CPS office in Sumner County, huh? Yeah, I don't know. You know, Katie made the comment that how horrible Sebastian would feel knowing what people have said about his parents. But here's the thing. If they don't let him on social media, then he wouldn't know, right? Isn't that what they said? So I don't know why she said that. All right.
Right. I hear you on that, man.
You don't hear me sitting here asking everybody for help. Why do I have to call you personally?
Good point. I thought that your interview with Brian Enton was very, like all your interviews, it was straight to the point. It was
Too
direct.
old, being around the bush, that got me in trouble anyways. It did get me the best thing in the world, though. Now I just got to find him.
Yeah, I think you are. I really do. I really do think that you're going to find him. And I said this when the first time that we talked. I believe that you'll be the reason that he's found, and because I don't know if Chris and Katie are looking for Sebastian. They say that they have, but it doesn't feel that way to me. And like I said, I don't want to rail against them because it's just not appropriate for me to do that. But
A lot of people think that they're guilty. I've seen some of the comments, but my profession says that you're innocent until proven guilty. And that even comes to when it comes to my son.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's not what you know, or it's not.
I really admire Seth for saying that because you got to know how he's feeling on the inside, right? So I really admire him for having said that. And yes, the reward is now at 175,000, and that's between 50,000 from the FBI and the rest coming from Dog and Nick. So that this first award that's on the screen right here, yeah, this one right here. I don't know whatever happened to that. It seemed like later I heard somebody asked about it and they said that there was never any real money in there. There were just like IOUs from businesses or something that never came through. And that's really sad because, a lot of people probably would have donated for that, especially knowing it was going to a lawyer's office into an escrow account. A lot of people probably would have really donated for that. But I mean, I'm glad of the 175 that is going to, you got to imagine the tips that are coming in right now.
Not how you feel. It's just what you can prove, and where, the first step is finding Sebastian, and then hopefully everything gets squared away from there.
I've said that there's a missing piece to this puzzle, and I figured out what the missing piece is. It's what I'm looking for. Once I find Sebastian, we'll know everything. We'll know what happened.
Yeah, I agree.
God willing, he's alive and well, and he can verbally tell us.
Let me ask you about that really quick. His conversation, was he able to communicate just rather well? Like he could speak fine and all that kind of stuff, comprehend things?
Yes, there have been many times that I've got compliments from teachers about his vocabulary usage and his wide range of vocabulary to begin with.
Yeah,
I taught him how to read. I taught him how to write. I taught him. I was given a lot of shit because his first book that I ever bought for him was a dictionary. And I told him, if you read this from cover to back, you'll be smarter than half the people out here.
Right.
And he didn't take me up on it. So
I know. I mean, I don't blame him one bit. Comic books are way Way better. That is a straight up dad move. So I mean, you are a certified old father like me. That's what, like I told you, my kids tell me all the time. They're like, "You're like 50, dude. You're like 50."
My parents gave me
Somewhere
encyclopedias to
between
read.
40 and 50. Leave me alone.
Well, no, that's what they would say to me. But yeah, just knowing, you're just we're about the same age. Trevor's the young one here. He's the problem.
That's
Showing
because
up with his youth and good looks and stamina,
Wow.
good blood pressure.
what's that like?
Yeah, whatever, dude. Ooh, I'm Trevor. I have good blood pressure.
Oh
What's that
man.
like?
Guys, my friend Josh complimented today. Oh, what do you say? That I have good blood pressure.
Yeah, exactly. That's funny.
Someone's got to clip that, please.
I'm sure it'll get clipped. Seth, did Sebastian like any sports?
At one point in time, he did.
Baseball, right?
Actually, no.
Hi, Chai.
We were in California for 9 years, and I was teaching him how to play soccer.
Oh, okay. Soccer.
Yeah. Well, I tried to stay away from anything that might actually get him hit in the head by any hard or fast objects, because he has a pocket of fluid on.
Okay, so I have so many questions about this. Trevor Lee brought this to YouTube and Seth cussed him out. I feel Seth has pitched the rage, in my opinion. Yes, the feds have 50,000. Dog and Nick have added the rest to it. Okay. So the Trevor Lee and Seth situation, I do know quite a bit about it, but I'm not going to discuss it. I don't think it's relevant to Sebastian being missing. It's gossip and it's stupid. There is actually it's part of the lawsuit. So we're not going to go there with what happened between Trevor and Seth. We're just not. We're going to let the courts figure that one out.
On the right bilateral part of his brain. And the last thing I wanted is him to get a head injury from a fastball, a baseball bat. Football was definitely out of the question. He's too scrawny for that, anyways.
Right. What was he born with that?
Yes, he was.
And what is that attributed to? Is it just genetics or what?
It's 6q27 chromosomal deletion syndrome,
Okay.
which leads to a lot of birth defects.
Okay.
Like when he was born in 2008, there was 8 recorded cases of this.
Interesting. Okay.
There wasn't a lot of research on it because there wasn't no money in the research.
Okay, so we're not going to do hate, okay? And I didn't say that Trevor was involved in the suit. I said there was a part of that is involved in the suit. As far as something that was done. Anyway, I'm not going to go there. I know a little bit more about that, but I'm just not going to Not going to do it. We're not going to hate on either Chris and Katie or Seth. It's just not going to happen. You know, they are missing a child.
So
Does did he have epilepsy?
no, thank God.
He never had seizures or anything growing up.
Have seizures. I potty trained him 6 times. It was just like he would go to bed, and the doctor stated that he thought that maybe he was having the seizures in his sleep,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
he grew out of it. I mean, the doctor was like, they don't do anything. It's just like a little reset. Oh, I saw it many a times.
And he would have the tonic clonic seizures, the shaking and stiffness.
Well, no, I saw the after effects because I think a couple times we thought that maybe he was having a seizure
Yeah.
because but it was kind of like an absent-mindedness.
Uh-huh.
And he was sitting there, he would be watching TV or doing something, and then he would just stop and stare off into space.
Yeah, they're called absent seizures. Yeah.
But then you could, hey, snap your fingers, get his attention, and he'd come back to you. But there was times that he would go to bed, and when he woke up the next morning, you could just tell that he had no clue what happened for the last couple months.
Really? Yeah. They call that what is that? It's like after you have a seizure. I can't remember the name, but it's
That's
a state
so sad
that you go into, and it takes a while. You don't know. My oldest son has seizures, and so
he had meds, but they're not saying what
that would happen to him.
They were for.
But he was very. It took him a while to just get his wits about him. You know what I mean? Like a good half hour to hour. Postictal, that's what it's called, a postictal state. Correct. Thank you, Cat H. So it's a fog, kind of what you're describing there. So, but kids grow out of seizure activity a lot. Like it's like 70-80%. Like kids when they get older, they tend to grow out of it. So that's very tough to deal with. So he and you said, and when was he diagnosed with autism?
Late last year.
And before that, what was he treated for? Like, what was his diagnosis before that?
Besides the chromosomal deletion, which was done at like 6 months old, they just went and diagnosed him as having ADHD.
It seems like a fairly simple diagnosis, especially for
It's not a simple diagnosis.
But I mean, I'm sure that did he have that as well? I mean, was that something that he does have? Is it something that's
My daughter had ADHD, and that's attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. That girl, from the time she got up in the morning until she went to bed at night, ran. I mean, she didn't stop. Whether she was talking, whether she was actually running, no matter what she was doing, it was full speed ahead. It was quite the interesting life. But my oldest daughter was more serious, kind of like I am. And so my youngest daughter was more the jokester, and she was also the one to more get in trouble as well, but she was the jokester. She was bubbly, she was joyful, she was so she brought joy into our lives as well. But that's not any simple diagnosis. Let's see, for testing, she was there almost all day, with different medical doctors and different psychologists and psychiatrists and different tests. It was really, really interesting. And I did hear that too. I think you said that before, Chai, in comments probably that the deletion disorder can cause urinary issues, um, which Katie had talked about as well.
Still active with him?
What, the ADHD?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does that make him act? Like if that's acting up, is it just as described? You just
Me,
hyper and can't pay attention?
boy.
Yeah. Just hyper, right?
See, you know,
Yeah. Did he shake his leg? Was he anxious? Did he ever get anxious? Anything
yeah.
like, you know? Did he ever express to you that he was anxious?
You could just tell with his behavior.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. They usually don't tell you.
And
How would you
so okay, like, so this is just a hypothetical. So say somebody comes across Sebastian, and he's scared or disoriented or whatever it is. What would be the best way to help him to calm down until help gets there? I mean, you know him better
yes,
than anybody.
It does.
A calm, soothing voice.
And he will respond to his name, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he ain't stupid by any means.
No, I wouldn't imagine so, especially somebody that gets that many kills on Call of Duty.
He still hasn't matched mine.
I hope whoever finds Sebastian,
he will. He will. He's got plenty of time.
Is somebody that is familiar with autism,
he's got an advantage
ADHD.
why my arm is hurting. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody had a question here. Eric says, does Seth have any thoughts on Chris saying, Ellie told me not to talk about it on certain questions? Any thoughts on that at all?
I have another phone right here next to me. It doesn't have service, but I love using my Wi-Fi.
Okay.
You said Eric. What's that? I talk to law enforcement. I know what I can and cannot discuss. And so far, you guys really haven't asked me very many questions that I can't discuss.
Sure, I understand that. Makes sense.
You know.
So you just maybe that's more at his discretion than anything else.
Well, I don't know what they tell him. I know what they tell me.
And that's not something that you're able to tell us, correct?
Nope.
Got it. Let me see. Seth, I hope you feel the love the world feels for Sebastian and you. Your heart is shining through. That's true. I agree. I did find it a little odd that Chris did mention that he didn't take a polygraph, and I think that's odd. Although polygraphs, I know that polygraphs they're not typically admissible in court, but they are used as a tool.
Well, in court.
Yeah, and nobody ever asked you to take one, correct? I mean, that's because obviously you were of your proximity and where you were at the time.
I mean, I volunteered. I was like, okay, so you gave her one. When do I go take mine? And they never even responded to me.
Well, they made her take one because she was the only one there when he went missing.
At the Christmas party? That's how I kind of felt.
Yeah. No, that's it. So what'd you think of old Trev when you met him the first time?
I was wondering why the wind blew the trash into the park. Hi, partner.
Now that's funny.
only talked to him for like 5 hours today.
I was gonna say we only spoke for the whole day.
5 hours. Jeez.
Yeah, I made sure he left his phone over there by his car.
Yeah, no streaming for him. Yeah, that's definitely not Trevor's MO. He's a very, him and I met through another case out of Tennessee. And
I don't know. I mean,
what's that?
Britt asked a question. Does mom usually take Sebastian out to do so many things like the day prior? I don't know. I really don't ask about their days because I don't really get an answer anyways. And then Sebastian doesn't really like to talk about what he does at his mom and stepfather's. And I kind of figure out why now. Mohawk Mom, does Sebastian also have a nickname? First of all, I named him. All 4 names, I named him.
I'm having trouble here. All right, much better. Sorry. All four of them.
All 4 of them. So, Wayne, Drake, Rogers.
Where'd the Dwayne Drake come from?
The Wayne?
Or the Drake?
The Wayne is my dad's name.
Okay.
And Drake is because he's always been my little dragon.
Interesting. That's cute.
That's awesome.
That is cute. Kids of divorce do have it rough. I had my husband left when I was pregnant with our second child. So we had, there was a step-parent situation. I made sure never to ask my children what went on at their dad's house. On the flip side of the coin, though, they always knew they could talk to me. So, I would hope that they didn't get questioned about what happened, on the other end. So, I don't know, but I don't think so. I don't think he did that, but it is really hard on kids, and I really commend Seth for saying I didn't ask him, and Sebastian didn't want to talk about that. They don't. Kids don't want to be put in that position, and they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be.
Definitely way before some music person thought they could call themselves Drake. Okay.
That makes sense.
Star T, the reason he seems like a normal boy is I didn't raise him like he had a defect.
Yeah.
He didn't have a defect. People see it. Some people see it as a defect. Me, he's special.
It's just who he is. He's yeah.
I raised him like I would raise my next child. No, that's not an offer.
Mm. Thank God.
As for a nickname, it just depends on what he's done today to get himself one of the many nicknames that I have for him.
So
I like to call him Shark Bait, and he don't like that.
Shark bait.
Why shark bait?
Exactly. Ooh-ha-ha.
Shark bait. Ooh-ha-ha. Yeah.
I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about.
Nemo?
Finding Nemo.
You never watched Nemo?
And he had a DR. Shit.
Probably 18 years ago was the last time I saw Finding Nemo.
What's a classic part though?
I don't remember.
They were in the aquarium. They were having the ritual.
Yeah, they were having the ritual with all of them inside the aquarium, and then shark bait, ooh-ha-ha, shark bait, ooh-ha-ha. You see, I remember.
JC wants to know. Let me ask you this question. Hi, Josh and Seth. I have a question. Was Sebastian a child who enjoyed going a lot of places? one day, referring to Sunday, and prayers for you. You're a wonderful man.
I think she's hitting on me. I'm not sure.
It's hard to tell through text. Trust me.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, it's hard to tell when they're right in front of you too.
That's true too. I assume everybody's disgusted by me.
Pretty much. That's how I feel.
That's just the basis I go off.
But with no oars. Okay, Josh?
Yeah.
I don't, like I said, I don't really pay attention to what they're doing because Sebastian doesn't really tell me. Now, there's days that when he's with me, we might go to the store. We might go over to the game shop to play D&D, play Magic the Gathering, go fishing. I mean, there's a lot of things we might do throughout the weekend. But I like to do one or two things. Like if I got to go to the grocery store, then we're going to the grocery store. That's normal. After that, if he wants to go out to eat, I'll take him out to eat. If he wants to go play at the playground and it's not cold outside, then I'll take him to the playground. I mean, a lot of when I have him on my weekends, we pretty much do whatever he wants to do.
And what is it that he typically wants to do? What, like a normal child wants to play video games? Yeah.
He wants to play on his Switch,
Yeah.
watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Naruto, whatever he have, or NCIS. He really likes NCIS.
He likes the show NCIS.
Yeah. He says I'm good.
I was gonna say he must be a Gibbs fan because I could see him liking Gibbs. Who doesn't like Gibbs though, right?
Right.
NCIS is a legit show. I've watched it with my grandma before, right after the Waltons. So I have to force myself to wake up to watch NCIS.
Right after the Waltons.
Yeah, dude, the Waltons are legit. Huh? I like them. I watch them sometimes. Let me see here. See if we can.
Was I that night? Who was at work?
Who
At
asked,
work.
who asked you? Yeah, that's. Did he like puzzles?
He worked on some puzzles. I mean, he liked Legos. So I would buy the single thing Legos like Batman and his spaceship or the Joker, and we would sit there and put those together.
Dude, how? Hold on, let me get this really quick. How
What?
expensive are Legos now?
Expensive.
Dude, I remember my kids loved Legos. So we when Kmart was a thing, we would go there, and I'm surprised how expensive Legos actually were then, and I can't imagine how much they cost now. But they're supposed to last forever as long as you don't have a dog that chews on them. And I do have a dog.
Or a kid that leaves them out so you step on them.
Is there any there's nothing that hurts worse than stepping on Legos barefoot.
Yes.
I was kind of being facetious, but I get what you're saying. I'm sure there are other things.
Hot Wheels.
Yeah, it reminds me of on Home Alone when Marv comes through the window and there's like the ornaments and the Legos and the wheels, and he steps on all of them. He stepped on every single one. I've always said that Kevin from Home Alone, that kid is.
Chai, I was thinking about that too, and the fact that he likes NCIS. I mean, you have to be. It's not your average kid that would watch that, right? Because you have to be, pretty intelligent because you're figuring out this case as you go, right? So I just think that that's pretty cool. That shows you how intelligent Sebastian really was. So that, it is good information. This, I can't even call this an interview, right? Because it's like three guys just chatting. They're, they're asking some questions, but it's more like they're just chatting and it's all relaxed. But they're bringing out information that is pertinent to who Sebastian is. And I think that's really, really interesting.
Sick. Like he's a sick person, you know.
Well,
And
you got to be a sick person to be trying to kill a kid, anyways.
yeah, but he was trying to kill two adults.
We're trying to kill him. All fair and
All
loving.
he had to do was call the cops, man. That's it. He knew they were coming.
Yeah, but remember when they first showed up, they were dressed as cops, so now you can't trust it.
That's true too. So then he decides to try and kill him.
Don't tread on me. Don't come in my house.
Yeah, no, he didn't. But then the New York thing, he just took it too far there.
That you're from California, Josh.
What's that?
So we can so tell you're from California, Josh.
I'm a snowflake.
Really close to it.
No, I'm actually I'm from a part of California that's really not that way. I'm from a county called Humboldt County up in the northern part. And I mean, we're big country, but that doesn't change the fact that Kevin was a psycho, me being from California. Yeah, he's allowed to do that. You know what? I think maybe one time I've had somebody say something like that, like, oh yeah, we can tell you're from California, but yeah, maybe it does show. I don't know. Trevor's from California too, San Francisco specifically.
Yeah, absolutely not.
That's what you told me once. No, you
It's not what I told you.
He wanted the trolley ride.
Yeah. Can we go on a trolley ride? Trevor, get out of the road. Great question. Can Sebastian swim?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Boy's been swimming since he was a year old.
Okay.
It's the first thing we did.
Like a fish.
You betcha.
Interesting. Okay. And he was attracted to water.
Attracted to water?
Yeah, that's what I heard early on. I don't even know what that means. I like water too, so I don't know what that means.
They say that autistic children are attracted to water. My son, on the other hand, I don't think he was attracted to water. I think it was more like he liked to swim. We go fishing, and he didn't want to touch the water because it looked nasty and dirty.
Right.
Because he doesn't like to get dirty.
And so they are operating under the not suspicion, but assumption that he didn't have any shoes. I mean, is that something that is confirmed?
Yeah, he has no shoes.
That's our other
The
fact,
pair
guys.
of boots that
No
I just
shoes.
bought him because he outgrew the last ones, and the pair of shoes that his mom just bought him because he outgrew the other ones, and his old tennis shoes were still at the front door.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. So say there was some sort of, disagreement or argument at the house and he got upset and say he said, I want to leave, which this is hypothetical. You knowing him the way that he does, I mean, would he take the time to put his shoes on?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, is that a possibility that's what happened?
Anything's possible.
Yeah, I mean, that's a weird question to ask you, but like, is that something that you put any merit into, or you don't feel that that's what happened?
I don't know, man. I really do.
Yeah.
I wish I knew.
Yeah. Hold on. And we're going to pin this the top of the chat. Golly, hold on.
Yeah, I think Josh said on the red ants.
I did. I did sit on red ants. Yeah. It was horrible, dude. Like honestly, and I wasn't very old, but they got my apple bag and everything. Thighs, legs. It was one of the worst feelings. It was like getting electrocuted, like mini electrocuted, like a little mini jolt.
He's got a pair of they're like Nike slip-on like shower shoes at my house. He wears those if he's going outside.
Mm. Do you know if he had any slippers at his mom's house?
That I don't know.
Yeah. And so if he were to just like take the trash out or something at your house, he would just put on his slippers?
Depending on where I put the trash can. If it's in the grass, he puts on his slippers.
Uh-huh. Yeah. He wasn't a kid that walked around the house with no shoes on, or he did?
Oh, around the house, he didn't have shoes on, but at my house, all shoes come off at the front door. Don't be tracking anything through my house. That's nasty.
Yeah. Trevor steps in dog crap a lot, so that's a good rule. Right, Trevor?
Well, he doesn't.
We'll go with that.
What?
Trevor steps in dog crap on purpose.
Trevor is hardly spoken at all.
Anyway. I'm just kidding. But so the no shoes thing. I just keep going back to that because I keep thinking that maybe there was like an argument or something like that, and I hate to even speculate, but just the no shoes thing is just really
good speculation. But
What's
I figured speculation station.
Does Sebastian sleepwalk is a question.
I've never seen him sleep.
Not that you know of, yeah. And
sleeping.
A little bit. Thank you for gifting a lab membership. That's very kind of you. Did Sebastian carry a flashlight everywhere, and what's it look like? Praying for you both from Texas. And honestly, you guys don't have to super chat to ask questions. I'll try and get to as many as I can, but don't feel obligated to do that, please. Go ahead.
Where are we at?
Did Sebastian carry a flashlight everywhere? And what's it look like?
My house, he's got a flashlight in his room. So, there's that. Then there's a flashlight in the hallway, and there's a flashlight on my desk. And there's a lantern light by the kitchen table. And in my truck, I carry 2 pretty much mag flashlights. So he never had to carry a flashlight with him because there's always flashlights wherever he went in my house.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Sebastian liked the beach because he didn't like the sand. It felt weird.
Look, that's something I can get behind too. Has Ellie sat down and told you what is fact versus BS?
You see that?
There it is.
See the flashlight? It's where he left it. Flashlight, gun. Because that's where he likes to literally be under his bed with the flashlight playing a Switch or reading the book. My son was weird. I loved every part of it.
He was just Sebastian. He is Sebastian. When I talked to you last time, we had talked about the glasses, and I know that there were some conflicting reports about that. But so
what is Seth
his glasses
doing?
aren't at the? Is that his?
No,
that's yours.
But they glow in the dark.
What's that?
I said no, but they glow in the dark. I have 2 of them. I found 2 of them the other day when I was at the Corner store.
You like ducks?
No,
Just
they're,
think glow in the dark.
they're green and they glow in the dark.
Sebastian. Yeah.
So
That's
one
it.
for
That was his favorite color, right?
you betcha.
Yeah.
Um, I still find myself like I was at O'Reilly's to get oil for my truck because I've been driving a lot of miles, and I was there.
Yes, early on, they said that Sebastian liked to be under his bed, either reading a book or playing a Switch, whatever, or like at Katie and Chris's, he would go into his closet, and Chris said that it was a fairly big closet, but he would go in the corner there and, read a book or whatever he was doing in there. Or I guess like eating the snacks too that he would steal, which is somewhat endearing if you think about it. Um, and when Seth showed that bed, there's not a whole lot of room underneath that bed. I don't, he's not claustrophobic, evidently. I don't think I could. I'm not claustrophobic, but I just don't think I'd be comfortable in that tight of a place. But yes, Chai says it is sweet, and it is. And yeah, that would be why Sumner County was asking everybody to check small areas like rooms and crawl spaces. They were asking things like that, right? Um, but I also kept thinking about the fact, like when we watched Seth go out and search a couple days ago on the video, I kept thinking, well, would he really be in these places because they're dirty? And both Seth and Chris and Katie have said that Sebastian doesn't like to get dirty at all. So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Let's continue on.
The next thing I know, I was leaving with Hot Wheels for him, and it's just like, hope I find him.
I hope so too. We'll do a couple more questions and we'll get out of here. Let's see. And Kelly K, thank you for gifting the memberships. That's very kind of you. I have some. If he put on his glasses and got his flashlight, he put his shoes on, so it just doesn't make sense. I mean, that's a great point.
Well, Sebastian puts his glasses on whenever he gets up out of bed.
Yeah, right. I mean, that makes it. Are you the same way?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
These aren't sunglasses; they're transition lens. But I put
Thank you, Chai.
I put my glasses on every time I get up.
Let me see here. Speaking of flashlights, was it a Ring camera or neighbor who saw two flashlights in his backyard? What time was that? And I'm sure that you've seen the infamous lights. What has law enforcement told you about that?
That it's not flashlights.
Did they say what it was?
They said it was the trash truck. They said the one going that way was that picking up the trash, and the reason it was so fast coming back was because it was going.
And that was caught on a.
I have a hard time believing it was a trash truck, and here's why. That was at 3:00 in the morning. Trash trucks don't run that early. And somebody actually called about that, and they don't run that early in the morning. So, I don't buy that at all. I know that one of our subscribers, Mike, doesn't believe the flashlight video at all. I do believe it. I do believe that I don't know if they're flashlights or cell phone lights, but I believe that there were two lights. I believe the overlay. And so, yeah, I believe it. Um, you know, I guess you want if you're a parent and law enforcement tells you no, that's a trash truck. You'd want to believe what they were saying, but I don't think I could. I think I would have been saying at 3 o'clock in the morning, trash trucks don't run that early in the morning. They'd be waking people up, right? That just wouldn't be a good thing. And yeah, it doesn't make any sense. If it was a trash truck, there'd be two lights moving at the same time. These lights were not moving at the same time and in the same. I don't know what I want to. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, I guess is the best way to put it. Anyway, I think we've got about 10 or 15 minutes left. So we'll just go ahead and finish this one
Neighbors
out
camera?
tonight,
That's what they said.
even though I'm really tired.
Wow. Okay. That's interesting. Debbie, what was the question, Debbie? Sorry, the chat's moving fast. It's hard to slow it down.
That's right, Chai. I agree.
Let me see. Okay. Seth, can a money order be sent instead of a regular check for the reward fund?
Think
Do
you
you know,
should.
Trevor?
The difference is with a money order, whoever gets the order can literally cash it. So if it doesn't make it there and somebody say steals it, which mail is not really very secure nowadays,
Yeah.
you're not guaranteed that it gets there.
Interesting. Rebecca wants to know, as far as you know, has Katie always been soft spoken?
I'm going to claim the fifth on that one.
All right. Moving on.
Josh, I am dropping the link for the lawyer that's over the reward fund, so anybody that can contact him about any further questions if they want.
You dropping it in the chat?
I'll drop it in the chat. Yeah.
Chat. That's different than the chat.
Whoa!
Chat's the chat. Private chat is the chat. Or no, wait, I'm confused. Please read my
link. I don't know why I did that. It
What was it?
40 links.
Does he know if the doors in the house were locked after Katie woke? And also, did the dogs hit on his scent outside the house?
Oh, the scent
so
issue.
the question is, does he know if? Do you know if the doors in the house were locked after Katie woke up? Also, did the dogs hit on
How
his
would
scent
he
outside?
know? He
Now,
wasn't
I believe
there.
that they did hit on a scent from what Chris and Katie say. What about the do you know if the doors were locked? Like, because there was no sign of forced entry, right?
Correct. And the only thing I know about it is what Katie told law enforcement, because obviously I don't live there.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, the dispatch call did say that the doors were locked, so that's what was reported to them originally too.
What is can't see.
But then EMA director said they had no scent trail when he spoke to Nick Barris the other day. So I don't know.
Don't even get me started on that guy.
Did Katie really pass the poll? I don't think Seth. I mean, I'm sure you don't know the answer to that, correct?
Hope she did.
You hope she did, but you don't have confirmation one way or the other.
No, I was told she did.
By
TBI.
Oh, that's interesting.
But then again, in my experience, from what I understood, They always tell everybody they pass.
Well, there you go. That's funny. That's interesting.
I'm sure it goes along with the investigation too. I mean, maybe it's, if whichever way whatever they're doing with their investigation, their answer will also kind of reflect. Because with polygraphs, it's not as much of like passing and failing. It's, if you show any sort of deception or inconsistencies, or if it's just seems good, like if you're following your baseline. So
yeah, you can.
Yeah, Chai and Samantha are both bringing up good things. Children on the spectrum can be different. Um, like Seth didn't feel that Sebastian was drawn to water, right? But Chai you learned that they are drawn, but Sebastian was a high functioning autistic, and then some are gonna want to wear, different types of clothing. Like you said, no seams, had to wear sweats, wore slides, you know. I think each autistic child is different. Well, and I mean, every child is different, right? It's not just a child that's autistic. Every child is different. I mean, when I look at Sebastian, what I see is that smile that lights his face up. So you know that he's got to be a fun kid. And that video that we watched before this one, where they showed that video of him with the cup and the milk, I wanted to see what he was saying. I wanted to hear that because it was like, oh, he's doing something goofy. I want to see it, right? I want to see who he is, And yeah, each one is different, And so, yeah, each one on the spectrum is different as well. Some are going to like certain things, some don't, and that's what makes each of them so special. All right, let's finish this up here.
And you can pass a polygraph and for many different reasons. Seth, is it fact that Katie installs home security systems, or is that false?
Well, Katie, here's
she does.
And yet they claim they don't have one inside their house. I found that a little odd, but that's just me.
I'm law enforcement, so I don't have any guns.
Yeah, I bet. That's what I'm saying. I was talking about this yesterday. I said it's like somebody working at the chocolate factory and never having any chocolate. It's just like it doesn't make sense to me. What was that?
Said that's different. I wasn't always in law enforcement,
but you always had chocolate.
But when I worked at Subway, I couldn't eat Subs. When I was a manager at Pizza Hut, I couldn't eat the pizza.
Just because you didn't like it? I mean, you're talking to a Subway connoisseur here, and I've never worked at Subway, and I think the reason I haven't is because that my whole paycheck would go to eating subs.
Yeah, I don't eat Subway since they put that metal thing up so you can't see the meat.
It's like they're like blocking it out. You don't want to see what you're about to eat. That's funny.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I could tell you some stories about what I've seen people do at Subway.
Oh, no, don't tell us. Don't tell us, please.
I had a buddy.
Here we go.
Hey, man, I know you're good, but you're going to get this one.
All right.
And it was his old boss from another job.
Oh, my gosh.
And he wasn't paying attention when he asked for the meatball sub. And my buddy, his name was John Parada.
We don't want to know his name.
I'm a hairy guy, but he was Sasquatch. All right. And he turned around and ripped a whole handful of hair out from somewhere.
Oh, no.
And he shoved it into the sub. Turned around, wrapped it up. He had it all cut up, wrapped it up, turned around, told his boss, because I'm standing there playing arcades, and he's turned around and he told his boss, "You need to ring him up." He took his apron off, tossed his work shirt over there on the chair, put his regular shirt on, and he looked at me and he was like, "I'll see you at Insomnia later." And I was like, "Okay." And he walked out the back door, told the guy I quit, and walked out.
I
And I stuck around to watch the guy eat half the sub before he pulled the first hair out from between his teeth.
oh no.
You should never fuck with
Oh,
somebody who makes your food.
That's true. But there's also a rule that says don't make ass hair subs either.
It wasn't ass hair.
Never mind. Moving on. Um, yeah.
It was hair from the sausage.
You know, I was gonna have Subway tomorrow, but I'm gonna go fork it.
I just wanted to make sure you don't
no.
eat Subway for a while.
Well, I mean,
Hey, it was fresh.
I don't think any of us will be eating
That's
Subway
disgusting.
for a while.
Let me see. Any other? It was fresh. Can you ask if Katie was going to have to pay? I guess I can ask that. Can you ask if Katie was going to have to pay child support once Sebastian moved home with you? I think the answer to that would be typically yes. I mean,
Except for I don't pay child support, so why would I ask her to?
well, there you go. So the answer is no.
I don't pay child support now. We have a mutual agreement. If Sebastian needs something, he gets it.
Sure. Somebody said Jersey Mikes are way better. I've never had their subs either.
Exactly. Jersey Mike's. You can sit there and watch them as they grill the food so you know what's going on it. You know, there's nothing like a Philly cheesesteak with add bacon.
Jeanette said I ate Subway yesterday. Yeah, you know that's actually happened to me before. There was this we had this place called the China Buffet, and I just used to love that place until I ate there one night and everything was fine. It was no big deal. And then the next day I woke up to read in the paper like they got shut down for like tons of health violations, and I was like, I literally just ate there last night, and it was traumatizing, to be honest with you. It was just,
Hey, we want to look at Cat H.
okay. Cat H.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, probably. I've met my match a couple of times, but like the ball hair on the subs is that's next level for sure.
Well, I can tell you one that I did.
Oh God, I don't think you want to put that out into the ether, dude.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, fine, do whatever you want.
Oh my gosh.
I worked at a place that no longer exists, and I was a manager there.
Because what you did.
No. They just went out of business. But a lot of places went out of business during COVID and all that sort of shit.
Yeah.
But it was called Gumby's Pizza of Ohio.
It's an interesting name.
Huh?
That's an interesting name.
Well, it was Gumby's Pizza in Columbus, Ohio.
Okay, that makes sense.
Normally had one around every major college campus. And I had an ex-roommate come in that had cost me my apartment. Because one day he decided that he was going to walk around outside in the middle of winter with a dungy hat on, which is the old Navy white hats, boxers, and a fucking cleaver. Okay?
Yeah.
Don't know what kind of drugs he was on, but it cost me my apartment.
He got evicted?
So I got evicted because the cops got called and the owner didn't appreciate it. So I got evicted. Okay. Found me another place to live. Like 8 months goes by and he comes into my store And he was like, "Hey, how's everything going?" I was like, "How are you doing?" He was like, "I'm back on my meds." I'm like, "Oh, nice, great, all right." And I'm like, "So what can I do for you?" And he's like, "I want a supreme pizza." And I was like, "Okay, well, what size?" And he was like, "Large." Okay. I walked back there. Three other people that I had hired knew him as well. And they lived in that apartment building. And when we all got evicted, we all took it kind of personal.
I can imagine.
So I made his pizza for him. And it had floor spice, spit, and had hair in it.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's
I
just
cooked
wrong.
that, and he ate the whole thing in my lobby and turned around and told me it was the best pizza he ever had and ordered another one. Service with a smile, baby.
And he got you evicted. What do you want to do? I mean, what are you going to do, man? Maybe, yeah. He would still, he got you evicted. I'd have been pissed too.
Oh,
Floor
Samantha, I'm
spice. I've never
sorry.
heard that one before, but that's a perfect.
That's when you just drop it on the floor.
Well, I've eaten many things with floor spice on it because I've dropped them, and I don't care typically.
Yeah, not with wet dough. That shit sticks in there, and you got to imagine when you dropped it was right where you've been standing all day, and you've done walked out to the back of the building to throw trash away in the alley. All right, yeah.
Not with wet dough.
So you cooked that floor into the pizza.
Yep.
Oh man.
That's too funny.
It wasn't stuffed crust, but it was something like it.
Oh man. Well,
All right.
that's funny. That is.
Hey, I've lived several decades, so I
You're
have
somewhere
done
between
some
40
stuff.
and 50.
Yeah, I stopped counting when I was 26.
See, Trevor, that's what you got to look forward to. Seth, we're gonna get out of here since you left us with that butte. Tomorrow, you guys are searching, and I think I have it pinned at the top. Let's see. Join the search for Sebastian tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. 90 Volunteer Drive, Hendersonville, Tennessee, and that's where you guys will be meeting every day. That you're having searches every day until you find Sebastian. Trevor, are you going to be out there?
Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow.
Trevor will be out there as well. No, there is something pinned, isn't there? I can see it says pinned by the lab. I did it. I know it. I did it.
I did it.
I did it. I promise.
He's proud of it, guys.
Yeah. Well, not really, but
Sorry, Michael Harrison.
what happened? What'd Michael say?
Please, no, Seth.
Oh, well, it's done and gone. I mean, it's the genie's out of the bottle. You know, the Pandora doesn't go back in the box. You know, so
Nope.
there it is. All right, guys. Well, Seth, thanks for coming up, man, and I hope that everything starts to go smooth. It was really nice talking to you. You seem like a great guy, a great sense of humor, and I know that I'm sure that shined through with Sebastian as well. You were probably always you were like me with my kids. You know, I like to give them a little love, you know, of the I'd tease them a little here and there, but the teasing came back tenfold. So it always backfired on me.
Thank you for having me on the show.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. And
I think thing that people can help me with.
Awesome. Trevor, thank you, man. And we'll talk tomorrow as well.
All right, we'll talk to you guys later.
All right, Seth. Bye, Trevor.
All right. So that took a little longer than we normally go, but that's okay. I think we learned a little more about Seth's sense of humor, but we learned, quite a bit about Sebastian, you know. Um, and I love hearing about Sebastian. I could listen to that every time. Um, because it's about him. I can't wait that he comes home. So the next one looks like it's going to be Seth with Dolly Vision. And that interview happened on the 29th of March. So that looks like what we'll be looking at next. So I want to thank you guys for being here with me tonight and laughing along with me. It's been fun. Let's all keep Sebastian in our prayers that he'll be found soon. Be nice if he could be home by his birthday, but I'm really praying he's home by Christmas. That's my hope and prayer. All right, we'll see you guys on the next one. Have a great night. Thank you for watching another episode of Granny's Crime Busters. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and like and even share the content. You can follow us on any of our other social media platforms at YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We really appreciate you guys, and you can also email us at granniescrimebusters@gmail.com. Thank you so much, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.